Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in and joining us at the Real Short Box Live. My name is Donald, and just below me is Darren. Over here in the corner is Kevin, and right beside me here is Julio, our special guest. Julio from the comic shop We Can Be Heroes, so thanks for joining us, Julio. We appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. I love having the opportunity to hang out with you guys.
He's a big aficionado of action films and stuff, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're having our very first, very exciting action star Smackdown. This is going to be brutal, guys. It's going to be man versus woman, woman versus woman, animal versus animal, monster versus monster. It's going to get nuts. And I think we're going to have a good time here. The audience is going to be voting who wins, so who lives and who dies, basically. We'll be killing these guys off one by one as they lose the battle. So it's going to get...
It's like Thunderdome.
I'm going to do some things in the background here, but while I do that, I just wanted to show you guys our intro, and then we're going to be discussing a little bit about what films didn't make the list and why. So I'm going to do the intro real quick, and I hope you all enjoy. Yeah, jazzy intro, right? Rocking it out. Jeez, that was cool for 5 people and myself. So, thank you to those 5 people. Anyway, let's get on the conversation of what didn't make the list and why. And were we upset? Were we happy? Go from there.
We should start with our guest Julio, because he has a son named after a certain character that he loves, and
yeah. It's unbelievable, guys. Mad Max is not on the list. Whose idea was this?
I will put that on the other fellas, because it kind of made sense, but at the same time, I felt bad too, because we already have a character on the list that's from the same universe. So didn't want to be...
So I guess we don't need another hero, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need another hero.
You need to find a way home.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's a bummer. I love Mad Max, obviously, for many reasons. Mel Gibson was a sexy man in leather in the wastelands. That's awesome. I actually have 2 Australian cattle dogs because I love that whole movie so much, and that trilogy. Well, it's not a trilogy anymore, is it? Well, I guess if you just count the Mel parts. Yeah. I guess it's a trilogy.
Count Mel parts.
Well, let me ask you this, Julio. I too am a huge Mad Max fan. I came up on it. It's always nice to see a fellow Mad Max fan. What indeed is the best Mad Max film, or maybe even what is your favorite?
I love 2. I think is a perfect film. But I'm a huge fan of Mad Max, the original, which many people didn't know. A lot of people thought it was a second movie because it was big in Australia and not here. And when we saw it, most of the people saw it on TV. But Road Warrior, I think, is a perfect film. I mean, that's up there as perfect as far as story, action, and everything that it delivers. But Mad Max, the original, is my favorite because there's something really odd, and I think just the action and everything, it was just weird. It's just a weird film altogether, but it still has a beginning, middle, end that makes sense, and you don't know where it's going toward the end, and you don't understand why Mad Max does what he does, but I'm glad he does it. And then I think without Mad Max, you definitely wouldn't have had Fury Road and the weirdness of Fury Road. The other ones are weird, but not as much as Mad Max is. It's definitely a great movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and all you had to do was just tell them where Bobby Zanetti was. I don't know why this was so difficult, but hey, this is the future.
Gentlemen, real quick, I posted the link, so it's on my page if you want to grab it and share it.
Fabulous. Right. Kevin, who was left off the list that you found to be an injustice?
Well, I really like this character as much 2 other characters we're doing, but I understood he couldn't be part of this list, and that was Jason Bourne. I feel he's an awesome character.
More like Jason Bourne yesterday.
I think his real name is Matthew Webb, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like Mark Webb, Matthew Webb, something like that. You're right.
It makes sense if
I
it's
love
Mark
the name.
Webb because he sucks too.
I love the name Treadstone too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to say,
Very cool.
Treadstone, Brian Cox, who was in one of the movies.
Whoa.
He had a lot of
Kevin,
great
this is a
actors.
family show.
Family show, Kevin.
Brian Cox,
Whoa!
the original Hannibal Lecter from Manhunter.
Kevin,
Yeah,
you can't say
that's
that.
such a good one. Good call.
Yeah.
Love Manhunter.
Has the CSI guy on it.
Yes.
Yeah, William Peterson.
Yeah.
Also, play one of the best villains from the X-Men movie series as well, William Stryker, at least the older William Stryker from X-Men 2 United. Actor.
Enrique's on, guys. He says hello. So everybody say hello, Enrique. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Enrique.
Brother. So here's who I'm going to burn on. I have two. I'm going to go with Chuck Norris here. Now, I've always been trying to figure out which character of his I like more between Lone Wolf McQuaid and James Braddock from Missing in Action. But for me, I feel like the action film genre really hit its peak in the 80s and early 90s. And even though Chuck Norris isn't my favorite, I think what he pioneered in the style of the 80s action film is something that is we are going to give honor to, but at the same time, it will not be on this list, which I think is a little unfortunate because Chuck Norris he's not the original action star, but he's the original modern day action star. And I think it's really important to make notice of that. Also, Maximus Decimus Aurelius from Gladiator, Russell Crowe, I think is just a phenomenal character. I mean, this guy is the husband of a murdered wife, the father of a murdered son, and he'll have his vengeance one day or the next. This is a guy who took down the Visigoths with the Roman army and then turned around and kind of took down the Roman emperor as a gladiator. I don't know. I think he's got a great story arc. He is an indestructible Superman in many ways, despite being a human being. And I'm a little disappointed, I guess, he didn't make the list, but it's a tough list to make, to be fair.
Is he an action star, though? I mean, I don't know.
Who, Chuck Norris?
Maximus.
Oh.
I think he is. The gladiator fights alone are tremendous. I love when they play the when they are the hordes of the barbarian horde of what's his name? It's escaping me. Anyway, from the Carthaginians, and they're in an actual battle in the Colosseum against the Romans, a battle the Romans won, and he and his gladiators with literally like swords and spears took down chariots. They took down bows and arrows. I mean, this is just tremendously cool stuff, and I love that scene. It's one of the best action scenes I've probably ever seen in a movie, and I just give a lot of credit to that. So yeah, I feel like Maximus in many ways is an action star. A lot of acting chops required for that role, though. But
everybody,
I love him.
Real quick, Katie popped in. Hey, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
My mother popped in. Everybody say hello to my mom.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for
Mom.
coming in.
Thanks for joining
She had
us.
a great birthday last week.
Yeah. According to Kevin, she's 40 now. Go figure.
So you guys have definitely proven your mettle in terms of how much you love action films. Julio, what are your thoughts on the action films that are made today versus the ones that maybe we grew up with?
I don't know. I don't care for them too much. I've kind of stayed away. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Fast and the Furious movies, and it's just because they're over the top, and I love cheesy, and unbelievable shit. Like I'm the guy who gets up and applauds when stupider shit happens during the Fast and Furious movies. But I don't think there's very good action movies made today, except for maybe the John Wick movies. I think those are well done. But when it comes to
Hitman.
Yeah, well, that's where I was going. I was like, the Hong Kong and Chinese market has some incredible action movies, like The Raid and The Raid 2. Anything Donnie Yen. Yeah, Donnie Yen has this movie coming out. I don't know the name of it. It's coming out. I just saw the trailer like 2 days ago. It looks incredible.
And
I
Tony
think
Jaa's great too.
Yeah, totally. But if you want to see a real action movie, just see The Raid and The Raid 2. Just incredible.
You know, one action film I'd like to throw in. It's really not that new anymore. It's actually about 12 years old. It's newer considering that it came out way past the peak of action films. Taken with Liam Neeson is also a character that won't be on here. But I don't know about you. Anytime that movie is on television, I just cannot resist watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Plus, Donald took a famous line and put it into one of his films.
It's true. For the Blue Beetle. In season 3, he grabs a hold of Max Lord, which was Darren played Max Lord, and he goes through the whole line of what he was saying to the guy over the phone when he kidnapped his daughter and he called him. He was like, "I don't know who you are, I don't know what you've done, or where you are, but what I can tell you is, I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you, I will not pursue you, but if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you."
I love that, Donald. You're
great.
Sexy fuck, man.
Yeah.
You said it with such passion, too.
Yeah, right?
So, hey, Kevin, when we were putting this list together, one of the things that was an interesting conversation that I felt like we had, there were a lot of characters, I know at least that I suggested, that were have a very heavy martial arts background. But we exempted a lot of that from this list for a variety of reasons. Tell me if you see if there is a distinct difference you think between action films that are very heavy in martial arts versus just like your typical Die Hard film, for example.
Like, what's the difference?
Because we clearly didn't put a lot of martial artists on this list for many reasons. I was wondering if you see a divide between your run-of-the-mill action film and a martial arts film.
I guess it would be that sometimes with certain martial arts films, it's just too much action in a way. I mean, a good thing, but it's just action, and not enough storyline development as far as, a love story or, other plots. Just simply boom, boom, another fight scene, boom, boom, another fight scene. Might have like a very basic plot. I want revenge against someone who killed my master or something like that. And then it's just off to the races. Or like Bloodsport with Van Damme. It's a tournament. I'm going there. It's just fight. Not much going on beyond that. Whereas with Die Hard, you had a little more going on. A guy wasn't trying to get in any kind of fight. He's just simply going out to see his estranged wife, and all of a sudden he just got forced into a situation where he had to take action.
Yeah.
Or Passenger 57, another one.
I like a lot of this list because it's characters that were forced into situations. They didn't necessarily go out and was like, I'm going to do this. It's all kind of a reactionary character development that we're dealing with a lot of these action stars, which is funny because you wouldn't think that. But like even in Con Air, Nicolas Cage is like, I don't want any trouble, I don't want any trouble, and the guy's like, well, you found it, and he keeps coming at him, and then eventually he accidentally kills him, and that's where that starts the whole story. Then he reacted, he wasn't taking action, so that happens a lot in action films, which is funny because they call them action films, but then there's a lot of reaction that happens. Sammy popped in. Sammy says, yippee-ki-yay, mother fudgers. Okay. Raphael says, where you at, Julio?
I'm right here.
Yeah. He's literally right there. Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like what you were saying about reactionary stuff, but like, what about those action movies where it's an ordinary guy just like us that's put in a weird situation and is able to do all this amazing stuff, Yeah. Like there was that Kurt Russell movie where his wife gets taken by the
Breakdown.
Trucker.
Was that a breakdown? Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta tell people, you gotta suspend disbelief right from the get-go.
Speaking of that, Julio,
dude, just trying to do extraordinary things.
Speaking of that, we have a podcast coming up, audio one, in the next week or two that we're going to be putting out. That's going to be a breakdown of Kurt Russell's, what was it, Darren? Top 10, I believe?
Yeah, top 10 Kurt Russell films.
Yeah, we're going to have that coming. So look out for that because it's going to be a really fun one, I think. We're going to have a really good time. Looks like we have enough people that have popped in that we can start doing this. Now, Kevin, if you want to do a quick introduction of everybody, I know we all have our name tags here and everything, but just for those that are tuning in that don't know us or that have never viewed us before, that you can kind of explain really quickly who we are, what we do, and why we're here.
All right, brothers and sisters of podcast land, welcome to the sweetest, most righteous, and most homely broadcast today, The Real Short Box. First, I have on my upper right, he is the Count of Youngstown, Ohio. He is the debonair of modern day masculinity. He is simply known as Darren.
Wow. I like it.
And to my left on my screen, he is the chairman and CEO of the Real Short Box. He is DC Comics for life. He is simply known to you as the original Donald. And last but not least, he is a man who is one of the greatest entrepreneurs here on the West Coast. He is the Duke of Newhall, California. He owns and co-owns a top 10 comic book shop in the western seaboard of this great country of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back our special guest for the second time. He is simply known as Julio Galvez.
Wow. Dude, I was bummed all day until that moment.
Hey, man, we got to show you some love. You're a guest.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
And of course, I am your humble podcaster, the Supreme Chancellor, I'm just saying it, Dr. Kevin. No more further.
All right. Well,
But our podcast is fun. We talk about mainly comic books. We also delve into pop culture. We have a good time every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, doing these live streams for you, the live listening audience. And we hope you're going to have fun tonight with our Action Stars tournament.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Donald, would you like to explain to the audience exactly what we will be doing this evening?
Yeah, basically it's going to be a kind of a battle royale, so to speak, of verses. So we're going to have action stars pairing off against each other. Now, I know a lot of you want to go by popularity, but I plead my case of go by the skills of the character, their knowledge, their talent in the field. Like, we can't have a guy that just was a mall cop defeating somebody that knows 15 different forms of martial arts. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make...
It's like Paul Blart?
Right. It doesn't make sense, really. So, that's what I want to plead with this case, is that when we're dealing with these action stars, look at their skill set, their abilities. We're going to talk about this, too. So if the audience has questions, please reach out. Chris Duquette just popped in, everybody. So, Chris,
Yay!
Thanks for
What's up,
joining
Chris?
us, sir. Appreciate it. And real quick, I want to give a plug to a comic book shop that I went to here in Albuquerque, because I am working, I'm here remotely in Albuquerque. I'm normally in LA. But Age of Comics is a phenomenal comic book shop here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I had a blast. I met one of the guys, one of the brothers. There's three brothers that are owners of the shop. I met Jeffrey, who works there, and he was super cool, super nice, very nice guy. And the first time I walked in there, he was very welcoming. He turned on, they have a giant sentinel in the back, his head coming through the back wall and his hand reaching out over a room called the Danger Room that is filled with some of the most amazing comic books I've seen in person. Like, museums should have these pieces. Amazing Fantasy 15s, X-Men #1, Incredible Hulk #1. The list goes on and on and on. First Groot, early Captain America with Nazis and like really cool stuff that you haven't. First Barry Allen, first Hal Jordan, this kind of stuff. Some really awesome pieces of history that he was kind enough to open up after closing, let me inside and give me a little tour of the facility. So Age of Comics, I can't recommend them enough. Jeffrey, thank you again for making me feel so invited. And I plead that everybody that is in or near Albuquerque, New Mexico, go to Age of Comics. You will not be disappointed. Their toy selection's on point. Everything's on point. It's a great shop. Really, really, really enjoyed myself.
So this is the best comic book shop in the land of enchantment in the great state of New Mexico.
I would say I would say so. Just basically on the aesthetics alone, how they made it look. They got an old Spider-Man pinball machine when you first walk in.
Nice.
Huge toy selection, vintage toys, Julio, that you would love. Like some really cool vintage toys, Star Wars stuff, all kinds of really cool stuff. So highly recommend stopping there and checking them out. But anyway, I'm sorry to go off on that. I just told them that I'd give them a little plug because I really like their shop. So thank you guys.
They got any turtle stuff there?
Yeah, they had some Ninja Turtle comic books and stuff, but not what you were looking for or what you told me. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Thank you.
All right. Who's ready for some matchups?
Yes, go.
I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Now, I put the timer on in the corner, guys. So when we discuss these characters, we're going to have about a minute to go through each, through both characters and why they are so great. And each of us are going to take certain characters. So we're going to get started on this. Chris asked if they had Garbage Pail Kids collecting cards at that shop. Chris, I think they did have a few, like packs, but not vintage ones, like the new ones that they came out with. Turtley? Yeah, Asher says, I like Turtley. Turtlea. I don't know what that is. Is that a Pokemon?
Huh.
Could be. And Chris says, I love Lamp. That makes sense. Yeah, I love Lamp too. Oh, Turtles. Okay, there we go, Andrew.
All right.
Oh, Andrew. I know Andrew.
Andrew Asher, yeah, dude.
Here we go. NCAA style bracket here. We've got 8 matchups, 16 total. Kevin, you're on the spot for this first one. Star of 24 action films, the legend James Bond versus star of 6 films and has been around since I've been in middle school, Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible.
Ooh, God, right out of the gate, guys.
Ooh.
This is huge.
My God, we're not playing around, are we?
Oh.
Well, let's start with 007.
You're welcome,
James
Sammy.
Bond. Since 1962, MI6 best elite agent, suave, sophisticated. The ladies love him. He knows how to pump for information. He's taken on sinister organizations such as Spectre. He's been played by 6 different individuals. He's someone who's basically like fine wine. He has stood the test of time, and he's taken on all kinds of challengers, big and small, from Jaws to Odd Job. I mean, what can you say? I mean, this guy is no joke. And also, he has the skill to basically handle any vehicle. He can drive a boat. He can fly a plane. You name it. So you know the deal. You know his name, Bond, James Bond. Then, of course, you have the great Ethan Hunt, part of the Impossible Mission team, which is part of the CIA. Tom Cruise has played this role very well. And what's amazing about the Mission Impossible series, the movies, for the most part, have gotten better. Like the last 3, I thought were great. That's the funny thing about it. That's very, very, very unusual in a film series where they're just taking things to the next level. But Ethan Hunt, similar, he dresses pretty good, but he's also able to infiltrate. And one thing that's cool about him that James Bond doesn't do, he's able to be a master of disguise. He can wear a mask, to conceal his identity, take it off, oh my God, it's Ethan Hunt. And he is very athletic. I mean, you see him do backflips off motorcycles, you see him do all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is a very interesting matchup.
Uh-oh, the timer has been timed. We're at time's up on these characters. Wow. We have James Bond, Ethan Hunt. People in the chat section that are voting right now, I plead with you that you keep in mind that we are not saying that one character is based off another, and that's why the original is more important. We're talking about set of skills. Who would win in a fight if James Bond came across Ethan Hunt? Who do you think would take who, and why? That's what we're asking for. So if you change your vote, please let me know. But if you're voting what you're voting, that's fine. We're going to go through this voting section here very shortly. I'm going to put about a minute left on the clock here, and we're going to get started once you guys are finished voting. I'm going to start reading off the votes. Darren, if you could be James Bond for me, and Kevin, if you could be Ethan, that would be great.
Yep.
Okay, so Sammy says James Bond. We have another vote for James Bond. We have a vote for Ethan Hunt. We have another vote for James Bond from Maria. Chris Duque says he's going James Bond. My mother says James Bond. Katie says Ethan Hunt. Andrew Eischer, if we are assuming every James Bond movie and every Hunt actor is one character, Bond wins. Andrew, I'm assuming, so we're going to go with Bond for you. Dad says James Bond. Harley Brenton says James Bond. Hello, Harley. Let's see. Enrique says James Bond. Austin Fox says James Bond. Chris Duque says Liam Neeson. Thank you, Chris, for changing the vote to Liam Neeson. Appreciate that. Sammy says James Bond would kick Ethan Hunt's Scientology butt. I don't think Ethan Hunt believes in Scientology, Sammy, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
Does not exist in his world. Only communists.
Right. So where are we at with these votes, gentlemen?
I got 11 for James Bond.
Yeah, this is pretty much a wipeout. I only have 2 votes for Ethan Hunt.
I'm very shocked, to be honest.
I'm very shocked.
Me too. I thought it was be a little closer, just a little.
Raphael says Ethan Hunt, so we got one more vote for Ethan.
Right. 3 then.
I mean, Ethan Hunt does some of the most death-defining stunts I've ever seen.
Well, here's the other thing. Ethan Hunt's a team player. Like,
yes,
that's a big thing. James Bond is like, I got to do this alone. I'm Bond, James Bond.
That's true.
Yeah.
Only the 2 first Mission Impossible movies, he was kind of by himself, more or less. But after that,
Right.
it's a team thing. You're right.
Right. They made the mistake of eliminating his crew, and they should never have done that. Like, when they did that...
And also Mr. Phelps being a bad guy.
Yeah, really not genius. But they course corrected, and it's only gotten better throughout. The second one, I think, is the weakest of the bunch. The third kind of tries to reset. The fourth is amazing. The fifth is amazing. The sixth is amazing.
6 was amazing,
Yeah. So we have a winner. We're taking away Ethan Hunt. The winner is James Bond, everybody. James Bond wins.
You know his name. You know his name.
I'm already disappointed. Disappointed.
So
I am too. James Bond's too classy for me. I figured Ethan would get down and dirty on him. All right, Kevin, you're up again, sir. I am slightly envious of you because you are taking the 2 heavyweights of this competition, in my humble opinion.
Uh-oh.
In one corner, we have former Green Beret, Vietnam veteran, man who has rescued POWs, has destroyed cartels, the entire Burmese army. I am, of course, talking about the baddest man in action, John Rambo, versus the other titan of the 80s, John Matrix from Commando.
Ooh.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Ooh.
All right, Kevin, I'm going to put a minute on the clock. Go for it.
All right, this is brutal. Sylvester Stallone, I believe if I recall, Rambo, our first blow is based on a book. This dude has been killing dudes for all around the world for like the last almost 40 years. And this guy's no joke. I mean, he's gone to Vietnam to get back, prisoners of war. He's gone to Afghanistan to fight with the Mujahideen before they became Al-Qaeda, and took care of business there. He went to Burma and ripped out dudes' throats. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. And I think in the last movie, he's like taking on Mexican drug lords or something like that underground. I mean, this dude can do it all, no matter how old he gets. So
You're forgetting the most important part.
What's that?
He started some shit in Canada because he wanted to get something to eat, and they didn't let him. And that's the best one.
That's true. Brian Dennehy and company sent him off. That's very true. But Rambo, this guy, he's a Green Beret. He's elite. Don't mess with him, no matter how old he gets. Then you have the 1985 classic, John Matrix and Commando, a one-man wrecking crew, a master of hand-to-hand combat, expert with melee weapons, firearms, and explosives, can kill you instantly just like that. And he also engaged in one of the largest killing sprees on the island of the fictional Valverde against an entire army all by himself with a rocket launcher, with guns. I mean, he took care of business. And this is what happens. You kidnap a young Alyssa Milano, you're going to die.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And he lies in it, too.
Don't forget that him and Alyssa fed a baby deer, some food at the beginning. And Rambo wouldn't do shit like that. So
That's true.
Scene.
That's true. If anything, Rambo would cut that deer's throat.
Right. Rambo's not a family man. John Matrix is a family man. He'll do anything for his daughter.
That's true.
So who's
and
the
John
boss
Matrix
now?
Also was good to Ray Don Chon as well, if I might add.
Yeah.
Did you watch the last Rambo? He was nice to that girl that wasn't related to him and taught her how to ride horses and dig tunnels.
Didn't watch that. No.
You know, Julio, I have something I wanted to bring up to you since you watched that last Rambo film. Were you bothered by the fact that he actually had a lot to say?
I heard about that. He doesn't talk much.
He talked, but I mean, there were scenes where he should have talked more and scenes where he should have talked a lot less. There was a scene where, like, I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but like somebody gets killed and the mom of that person goes up to him and goes, "Is that her?" And he's like, "Yep." I was like, wait a minute. You don't need to see that. Yep. Nothing. It's terrible. That movie's horrible. Just for that, he should lose. But he did make.
Also, I think that if you take Rambo out of the woods, wherever he is, because he's always there in the woods or in a field or some shit, you put him in a mall and try to fight John Matrix, I think you're going to have some trouble because John Matrix knows his way around a mall.
He does.
Absolutely does.
He sure does. And I'm gonna leave a pearl of wisdom with our audience. This is one of the wisest things someone has ever told me, and you're getting it for free right now. The difference between Rocky and Rambo is that Rocky always finds victory in defeat, and Rambo always finds defeat in victory.
True.
That's a really good point, yeah. So we're going to open this up for the people to vote. I'm going to put a minute on the clock. We're going to get started here. Please start voting. Vote who you think would win in an actual fight against each other. The character of John Rambo or the character of John Matrix. Rambo, of course, from Rambo, and John Matrix from the movie Commando.
Remember, it's not a popularity contest. It's about who you think would actually win in one-on-one combat.
Correct. Julio, we're going to have you go with John Matrix, counting the votes on that if you don't mind. And Kevin, I'm going to have you count the votes on Rambo, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hold on, give me 1 second.
I have a funny feeling where this is going to go, unfortunately. That's
all right, go for it.
Feeling.
All right, my mother says Rambo.
Of course.
Enrique says I love Commando, but I'll have to go Rambo.
All right.
Maria says Matrix.
Oh, okay.
My dad says Rambo. Katie, we have a vote for Rambo. And then we have another vote for Rambo. Sammy also votes for Rambo. Raphael votes for John Matrix. Austin votes for Rambo. Street Slim votes for Rambo. And Andrew, John Rambo, or should I say Rambo? Oh, John Rambo, or should I say Rambo? Nice. Andrew. So far, Eugenio, we got that vote. Thank you. Chris Turner popped in. Thank you, Chris, for joining. He votes for Rambo as well. So it sounds like a landslide, and I'm very, very disappointed right now.
Me too. I figured I'd be closer as well.
I was trying not to put my love of the character of John Matrix and Commando out there too hard, but
you know what the problem, Donald?
He's not Rambo.
Schwarzenegger didn't make a trilogy of Commando movies.
Yeah.
If he'd done that, maybe, you know.
Yeah. And I understand if he's going to lose to somebody, losing to Rambo, I think is a pretty noble loss. So
I mean, personally, I think that this is the finals right here. Like, there's just not two more badass people in the action universe. So this is the finals.
Hey, Pete popped in. He voted for John Matrix. Where are we at with Rambo and Matrix, guys?
I have 10 votes for Rambo so far.
10 for Rambo, 3 for Matrix. Okay. Yeah. I don't think there's any way that Matrix is going to win this, so we're going to call it Rambo wins Moving on to the next round, everybody.
Just before we go to the next round, it's not Sylvester Stallone versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just
I
the
think
characters.
it would be the other way around, I think, if we went, that way. I think Arnold would definitely win. But it's Matrix. It's not many people know him. He only got one movie. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Guess you should have threw Conan and the Barbarian, and maybe it would have been better.
That would have been tough.
We're going to go to our third first-round matchup here in our left bracket. I'm going to take both these. Jackie Chan plays Detective Lee in Rush Hour versus John Cutter, played by Wesley Snipes in Passenger 57. So a quick rundown here for you will be as such. Inspector Lee is a special inspector from the nation of China who comes into Los Angeles to partner up with Chris Tucker. Obviously a master of martial arts, as is most Jackie Chan characters. A person who actually is a great inspector because he follows everything literally by the book. And, of course, finally, something that always has to be considered in a Jackie Chan film, a phenomenal sense of humor. He's going to be going up against John Cutter, who is a counter-terrorist expert. John Cutter's expertise lies within taking over hijacked aircrafts from terrorists, master of Taekwondo, master of weapons training, also a trainer of all these things. And John Cutter, to me, the fact if you can defeat somebody in a narrow space, we've all been on airplanes. I mean, this is a smart guy. He knows everything about airplanes, how to take them down, all that. So this is going to be really interesting. You get two real martial arts guys, roughly about the same size. Great kicks, great punches. Inspector Lee from Rush Hour against John Cutter from Passenger 57.
All right, that's great, Darren. Quick breakdown. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're going to open the chats for votes, so everybody start voting. Detective Lee versus John Cutter. Now, Detective Lee is from Rush Hour, and John Cutter is from Passenger 57. So, based on their skill sets, who do you think would win in a fight? Go ahead and throw your votes in the chat, and we will kill one of them off.
Hey, Kevin, you ever play roulette?
No, I haven't. I know where this is going.
Let me give you some advice. Julio,
What's that?
my advice.
Always bet on black. I've actually kept that. I've done it every time I go to Vegas. I always put like $10, $20 on black just because of that movie.
So, Rush Hour got 3 films and a short-lived one-season TV series. To be honest, guys, Rush Hour was never my favorite thing. Not because it's not good. I think it's very good. It was never kind of my thing. Kevin, are you a big Rush Hour guy?
It's okay. I mean, I'm not a big fan either, but it's fun. It's fun.
While we're waiting on the votes to come in, I just want to quickly mention the shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, yes.
Rest in peace, Mr. Dustin Diamond, a.k.a. Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Screech.
Yeah, that's our childhood, man. That's part of our childhood.
Big fan of the show ever since I was a kid. I loved it. Even during the Miss Bliss rounds of Saved by the Bell.
Junior high years.
Loved all that, too. So, sorry to see him go. Cancer's a piece of shit, and I hope it dies.
I just got a text message from John Cutter. He said, Charles Rain is not insane.
Oh,
jeez.
Wow. All right. So we're about 10 seconds away from starting to count the votes. I'm just going to go ahead and start counting because it's looking like a pretty big landslide, everybody. Okay. Darren, can you do Detective Lee?
Yeah. And
Kevin, will have you do Cutter.
Okay.
Okay. We have, for the first vote, Pete says Detective Lee. My mother says Detective Lee. Sammy says Detective Lee. Chris says Detective Lee. Andrew says, shit, now I'm thinking about executive decision for next week's poll. Katie says Detective Lee. We have another vote, Detective Lee. Another vote, John Cutter. Harley says Detective Lee. Austin says Detective Lee, Inspector Lee. Maria says Detective Lee. Andrew says Detective Lee. My dad says Detective Lee. Pete says rest in peace. Katie says rest in peace, Dustin Diamond. Gone too soon. Yes, definitely. Enrique says Cutter. And that's it so far. So what are we looking at here?
11-2.
So it's a blowout.
Yeah.
It's a blowout. There's no way that this is coming back. Cutter has gone the way of the Angels. He's dead. Detective Lee killed him quickly and decisively, and then made a joke about it with his partner.
Yep.
Now, if that was Blade, I think it would have been a different story.
Yeah, but you set the parameters on this, Kevin.
I did.
No special powers.
I did do that.
Okay, I'm going to enlarge Detective Lee's face. There we go. He's the winner. Detective Lee wins this round, everybody.
Ding, ding, ding.
Cutter got cut. Exactly, Pete. Very, very good. Very good. All right, next one.
All right, here we go. So our next matchup is going to be, of course, the illustrious Hobbs from the Fast and Furious against Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon. And I, of course, will also be tasked with the description here. Hobbs, special agent. We don't exactly know where he's from, which is kind of part of the fun of his character. Highly charismatic, virtually indestructible in so many ways, capable of doing incredibly crazy things, as the Fast and the Furious oftentimes I've caught closing my eyes during the movie, mostly from laughing in a good way, very hard. Hobbs is a master of just kicking ass and taking names. It's just what he does best. And, of course, he does it with the great people's eyebrow that The Rock is absolutely so well known for, often partnering with Dominic Toretto or against Dominic Toretto, depending on which Fast and Furious movie you watch, against Martin Riggs, Special Forces sniper, the baddest, most absolutely crazy Los Angeles Police Department detective, teams up with Roger Murtaugh, his exact polar opposite. Master of hand-to-hand combat, obviously a combat sniper. Obviously, on top of that, great martial artist, jiu-jitsu and shit, as it was actually said by Murtaugh. You're into all that jiu-jitsu and shit. Clearly a man who is capable of dislocating his shoulder at will, meaning that you absolutely cannot keep him in a straitjacket, and defeated one of the great villains, Mr. Joshua, in number 1, and Jet Li in part 4. Now, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. You have Hobbs of the Fast and Furious versus Martin Riggs of Lethal Weapon.
Oh, just under the clock, Darren. Excellent job. Excellent job.
Pretty good.
All right. So basically what I want to mention real quick, we're voting for who we think would win, these fictional characters. Hobbs fighting Riggs, not The Rock fighting Mel Gibson. So think about that when you're thinking about, especially now, because Mel Gibson, I don't think he'd stand a chance. He's old.
What are you talking about?
Come on, man.
Dude, are you serious?
The Rock he would grab his mouth from the top and from the bottom and just pull his head apart. I mean,
that would never happen.
I mean, I'm kind of interested.
Is on Mel Gibson's side.
To see this matchup for a fight. Obviously, if it was a matchup of acting, we know who would win.
Right. Hobbs. Wait, no, what?
What?
You know, I have a slight bone to pick with Kevin putting this list together. Me, personally, I prefer The Rock as Mr. Beck in The Rundown. I just think he's more fun and a little more dangerous myself. But I get the Hobbs pick. I do.
Yeah, look at that. Look at him in that shirt. Look at him right now. Look at him. If you're not attracted to Hobbs right now, there's something wrong with you. Look at that man.
You know, he is all
the man's man.
Right.
He's all of the 6'5" people say he is. I know, he walked right by me, literally flexed as he was walking.
Okay, and real quick, I failed to mention of Street Slim mentioning earlier that his comment for voting for John Matrix was Matrix never got captured by the enemy, which I thought was pretty funny because John Rambo did get captured by the enemy.
That's true.
Very good point there, Street Slim. Appreciate it. Eugenio is Slim for those that don't know.
Trump wouldn't like Rambo.
By the way,
politics here.
For those that don't know who Street Slim is, gentleman's name is Eugenio, and he's a fantastic blues musician. I mean, Darren and Kevin and myself, we all worked with him back in the day at ArcLight, the movie theater. Eugenio and a Street Slim and another gentleman named Catfish did the theme song for my web series. I don't know if you guys know, I created a web series called The Blue Beetle Ted Cord Returns. You can find it on YouTube under Rumble Spoon Productions. But he did the theme song for that, those two guys. It was fantastic. The Blue Beetle with a blues theme song, I just thought it was perfect. So thanks again for that. Always appreciated that, Eugenio. Thank you. And let's get to the voting now. We're going to start counting. Let's go with Darren, let's have you count Riggs. And Julio, can we have you count Hobbs, please?
Sure. Yeah.
I hope this vote's actually a little closer this time.
Okay. Eugenio says Hobbs wouldn't survive a day in Riggs' shoes, so I think Eugenio's voting for Riggs. My mother's voting for Riggs. Rafael Juarez is voting for Riggs. Maria is voting for Hobbs. Pete is voting for Hobbs. Chris is voting for Hobbs. My dad says Riggs. Katie's voting for Hobbs.
Finally, a close vote.
We got another vote for Hobbs, one for Riggs. Enrique's voting Riggs. Andrew says Riggs. Harley says Riggs. Austin says Hobbs. Shant. Oh, hey, Shant. Thanks for joining us. Shant, Kevin, joined us, and Julio. Shant says the one without the weak shoulders, so he's voting for Hobbs. Sammy says Hobbs. And Street Slim says, hey, Darren, you like my hair?
Hey, look, Street Slim, I wanted to add with Street Slim, most importantly, I will vouch for him. He is a true Arnold Schwarzenegger expert. This man knows his Schwarzenegger film, so I'm very happy he's actually a part of this podcast today.
So where are we going with this vote? How are we looking? It looks like it might be tipping in Riggs' favor.
I have 8 for Riggs.
I got 8 for Hobbs.
Ooh.
The Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court, man.
Oh, my God. We need everybody in the chat, those that have not voted, you need to put in your vote. If not, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the 4 of us. If we tie, they are both eliminated completely. And we have never not tied when it's 4 people here. I'm not joking. It's crazy.
That's true.
So we're going to put a minute on the clock. 30 seconds, actually. I'm going to count to 30 seconds on the clock. If we get another vote in that time, Rob, Antis, you better tune in and you better vote. You always pop in the last second and say something weird, and that's great.
I just sent him a link right now, so let's see if he pops in. Let's see if he pops in.
I'm going to check and see if I've got anybody. I don't have anybody. We're good here.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
All right, we got about 10 seconds left.
Uh-oh. All right, judges, get your rope, put your robes on.
All right, it's going to the Supreme Court. Everybody,
oh man,
we vote John Hobbs versus John Riggs. Is it John Riggs?
Martin Riggs.
Martin Riggs. Thank you. Oh wait, Bonnie threw in her vote. She says Hobbs. She says hi, The Rock.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We'll count it. We'll count it, Bonnie. That way we don't have to do it.
Will one more person come in so the Supreme Court doesn't step in?
I don't.
Will one more person come in? Give Mel Gibson some love.
I feel like the one more person came in.
I think, yeah. We're going Hobbs, Kevin.
All right, Bonnie. You were actually the Supreme Court justice in this case. Congratulations.
Bonnie voted for Hobbs.
Rigged.
Now, Supreme Court, who would have voted for Hobbs if this had gone to us?
Forgive me, I would have.
I would have as well.
No.
We would have had a split vote, and it would have eliminated both. So Bonnie, you saved The Rock.
I have to support my fellow Hurricanes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, congratulations. All right, moving on. Who is next?
Yeah, exactly.
Donald, we're going to the right bracket. It is your turn to give the descriptions.
Ooh.
Our first round matchup is going to be Ellen Ripley from Aliens against Ash from The Evil Dead.
Oh.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay, So I'm going to break it down really quickly. Ellen Ripley is a badass female astronaut. Of course, we all know she's a female. I don't know why I said that. But she's a badass astronaut that proved that you don't need anything between your legs but some guts in order to get shit done. She's a badass. She got into a robotic suit to protect a small child from an alien bitch. I don't know what else can be said about Ellen Ripley. Ash Williams. I mean, you know, what is there to say about Ash? Ash is the guy that never wanted to do anything but got thrown into this world. He's the most reactionary character there is on this battle. Give me some sugar, baby. First you want to kill me, then you want to kiss me, blow. You know, on and on and on. You can quote lines from Ash. Army of Darkness, he fought Deadites, he fought zombies, he's fought the Evil Dead. He's got a chainsaw for a hand and a wit that could kill with just a wink and a nod. So that is Ash versus Ellen Ripley. The votes will start in about 30 seconds. So anybody else want to throw in anything, thoughts about these characters really quickly? We've got about 30 seconds to do so while people in the chat start voting.
Well, Ripley survived sleeping for 57 years. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's badass.
Yeah, that's true.
Where the thing that I think it's really underrated is that Ellen Ripley has just tremendous leadership skills.
Yeah.
She doesn't try to take over. She's kind of a reluctant leader. She follows all the rules. She lets, the people that are higher command take over in many respects. But she's always supportive of everyone. And that's really important in this whole thing here. You don't have any super, soldiers with the Space Marines. They're all individuals who all play a role. And Ellen plays her role absolutely perfect. And when she's called into action, she doesn't try to muscle up against the Queen Alien. She gets herself into a cyborg. She fights back, and she never quits. And I think that's very valuable to her character. And I really loved Ellen Ripley as a kid for this reason, because she just never went outside herself. She knew what she was, and she always capitalized on that. And I really appreciate that from an action character.
Yeah, she always stayed a woman. She didn't, transform into what a man would, or into a man or anything like that. She always stayed a lady.
Right.
Regardless of the situation.
Okay,
I love that.
We're gonna start with the vote here, guys. Let's see. Sammy. Okay, so Julio will have you count Ash. Kevin will have you count Ellen Ripley. Okay. So Sammy says Ashy Slashy. Pete says Ash. Raphael says Julio, vote Ripley. I don't know, Raphael, is that your vote for Ripley, I guess? Let's count that as Ripley, okay?
And by the way, just before we go any further, I'm counting Ash, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Chris Turner says Ash. Let's see. Bonnie says Ripley. Enrique says Groovy, so that's Ash. Austin says Ash. My mom says Ash. Harley says Ash. Street Slim says Ripley. My dad says Ash. And then we have Katie voting for Ripley, and then 2 more votes for Ripley. Another vote for Ripley, and then another vote for Ripley.
Interesting. I kind of thought this would be close.
Much closer than I assumed. What are we looking at, gentlemen?
I have 8 votes for Ripley.
I got 8 for Ash.
Uh-oh.
We need some votes, everybody. Ripley versus Ash. Or it's going to go to the Supreme Court. You've got 30 seconds to throw your vote in, or it's going to the Supreme Court.
Uh-oh.
Supreme Court would be the 4 of us, I mean.
He's getting his gavel ready.
I love both characters.
Me too.
I love both.
How could you not? I mean, it's interesting, too, because one character is in this really high-end James Cameron film, and then Ash is in a much lower-budget Sam Raimi film, yet they're both effective in similar ways.
All right, so we have 2 more votes for Ripley, 1 more vote for Ash.
You said 2 more votes for Ripley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ash is losing right now. Okay, anybody else? We'll go about 10 seconds left on the clock. Final voting. That's it. That's it. It's over. Ellen Ripley takes Ash.
Wow. Congratulations, Ripley.
That's surprising.
Wow.
That is
Ripley's a badass.
really
man.
surprising.
Ripley's a badass.
Surprising how quiet Maria
all right.
stayed in the chat, too.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Julio, this is your first description of the night. We're going to our next first round matchup where we will be featuring from the film Escape from New York, Snake Plissken against, I would assume, the Terminator 2 version of Sarah Connor.
Well, what can I say about Snake? We discovered
say it
him
in 30
in Escape from
seconds.
New York. We discovered him in Escape New York. He was a criminal that was imprisoned in Manhattan, but given the task of saving the president. Perfect person to save the president in a crazy underground world that Manhattan has become. He came back, got caught again, and was sentenced to life in a Los Angeles prison after the big giant quake of, 94? And he was tasked with retrieving a suitcase from a terrorist that was going to reinvade the brand new Christian states of the United States. And then Sarah Connor, who was just a girlfriend, just a regular person who got put in between a Terminator, a cyborg organic organism from the future brought back to the present to write something to stop she was tasked with saving the Earth, basically, from an impending doom of the future. And she did it beautifully, by the way. That's pretty much what I got.
Okay, perfect.
You know, I got to say, Sarah Connor, it was like the first time I ever saw a woman like really jacked muscularly. And the transformation from T1 to T2 is really legendary stuff, how her body transformed.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, just the evolution of her character from the first to the second one is incredible.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to put a minute on the clock and start counting the votes here. Let's see. All right, we got Raphael says, okay, so Julio will have you do Snake Plissken, and Darren, if we can have you do Sarah Connor, that'd be great. Raphael says Snake. Sammy says Snake. Chris Duque says Sarah. Pete says Snake. Chris says Denake, so I assume he meant Snake. Street Slim says, I love John Carpenter and Snake Plissken, but T2 is the greatest action movie ever, so he's going Sarah Connor. Enrique says Snake. Chris says Snake. Bonnie says Sarah. My mother says Sarah. Andrew says Sarah. My dad says Snake. We have another vote for Sarah and another vote for Snake. Austin says Sarah. And then we have three more for Snake. Sean threw in on one of those three for Snake. Chris says, that's a mom fighting for her son. You don't mess with moms protecting their children, especially muscular women with guns fighting super strength robots. Yeah, Chris, that's a really good point.
Yeah, it is.
Let's pull down... Chris, I don't think I did. Wait, yes, I did. You're right. Take away one for Snake. Remove one vote for Snake. Thank you, Chris, for making that clear. All right, where are we at on this votes, gentlemen?
I've got 8 for Sarah Connor.
I have 10 for Snake.
Wow. Make that 11 for Snake. We got another one. All right, so it looks like Snake's winning. We need 3 more votes to tie this up. Katie voted for Snake as well. We need 4 more to tie this up. This looks like the nail in the coffin for Sarah Connor, but this was a close match, guys. I'm really surprised. I thought Sarah Connor would get blown away, but She did not.
You know, Snake's kind of a one-of-a-kind action hero. He's like kind of a parody of an action hero. He's certainly still a tough guy, but like I always find how unique he is. I'm actually really happy he's in this competition.
He's like a true anti-hero. And I think more and more we get anti-heroes now. It's a really popular thing. And I think that like the fact that Terminator was so popular, it was a lot more popular in Escape from New York and Escape. But like the whole cult thing that's going on nowadays, a lot of people have seen those John Carpenter movies.
And look at that face. Look at Kurt Russell's face. Look at those lips. Aren't those just the most kissable lips you've ever seen in an action star?
Man, a beautiful man.
Just a beautiful man. Just a beautiful man.
We're going to go to our third first-round matchup in the right bracket. All right, you're up again, Julio. From Die Hard, John Mclean. And we have from John Wick, none other than John Wick.
Awesome. So John Mclean from the Die Hard, how many movies did they make? 5 or 6 of them?
5, yeah.
Soon to be 6.
New York City detective comes to L.A. to visit his estranged wife, at a Christmas party at the Nakatomi Plaza. Things don't go well. He meets up with Alan Rickman. Is it Rickman? Yeah, right. And a band of
Hans Gruber.
A bunch of thieves that are planning to break into the safe at Nakatomi Plaza. And all of a sudden, John Mclean has to jump into action and take them all on. John Wick is Keanu, basically, and in a suit, not with a surfboard, not with a phone booth or anything. He just kicks ass. He's a kick-ass machine, and with anything on the planet he can use to take you out. Books, pens, pencils, knives, guns. The only thing he can't kill you with is dialogue, because there's not a lot of dialogue in this movie.
Oh. We've hit the times up on the description. Sorry, Julio.
It's all good. It's all good.
You got played off from the Academy.
Good and just walk all over this place.
Right. So go ahead and we're going to start counting the votes as people start voting in. This is John Wick versus John Mclean. We're talking Die Hard versus John Wick. We are talking about the characters themselves, not the actors, the characters in the film.
Sure.
I will say, out of all these films, in the theater, I've seen a few. Not the original Die Hard. I was a little too young for that. But the most fun I've had out of all these films in the theater was the most recent John Wick film. I went to a theater in Burbank, California, and I had never experienced so many people being just so happy to be there and to enjoy the film. Laughing at the right moments, going, oh, at the right moments, just nobody interrupting, but just grooving with the film. It was a really good time. So John Wick 3, I think, is kind of probably might be the best out of the 3. So it's been getting progressively kind of better as it goes along, which is surprising.
Like Mission Impossible.
Right. Die Hard, what can you say? It's a classic. It's a Christmas film.
Classic.
You know?
Christmas movie.
Right. It's great. So let's start counting the votes now that our time is up on that. All right, who would like to do John Wick? Kevin, why don't you do it since John Wick is in your background?
Okay.
I'll do John Mclean. It's all good.
Julio, you do John Mclean. All right. Maria says John Wick. Pete says John Wick. Enrique says John Wick. Chris Turner says John Wick. Katie says John Wick. Austin says John Wick. We got another vote for John Wick. We got another vote for John. Well, we got one vote for John Mclean, and then we got another vote for John Mclean. And then let's see, Bonnie says John Mclean. Andrew says John Wick, and let's see, we got another one for John Wick. Let's see, John. Yeah. Let me give a second. We got another one for John Wick, even though I never seen them. Die Hard got ruined by the modern sequels for me. Harley says John Wick. My mom says John Mclean. Katie says, anyone notice a pattern? Apparently most action stars are named John. Walter, thank you for your vote, and thank you for popping in. We appreciate that.
Wally.
My dad says John Mclean. Rob says John Mclean. And Raphael says John Wick. So where are we at?
John Wick, I have 12 votes.
I got 6 for John Mclean.
Ooh, wow.
It's going to be very difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it. Yeah, I think we're going to call it. We're just going to call it officially. We're going to go John Wick took John Mclean, which is extremely surprising to me, but I'm not angry, you know?
Yeah.
In the words of Alan Rickman, come on, Theo, it's Christmas. It's the time for miracles.
Sean just threw in a vote for John Wick, so it was like the nail in the coffin. Sean, thank you for voting.
Yeah.
All right, next round.
Final first round matchup, and then after this, they're going to go much faster. Donald, this is on you, sir. We have from Mad Max Fury Road, Imperator Furiosa, and from Kill Bill, Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. The Bride.
Oh, I like this matchup.
Me too. I like it. It's interesting.
Okay, so really quickly, we have two completely different badass women. Furiosa is in a post-apocalyptic world where she has to constantly fight for everything. She's never giving anything. She fights for everything. She's a badass with a gun. She's a badass with her fists. I don't know what else to say. She's just super cool, super strong. You can't not love her. Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. The Bride, Kill Bill, she is the lady that seeks revenge. She's one of the few that actually is an actionary type character. Actually, this is both of them, Furioso and The Bride, are both actionary characters, actually. So this is a very good matchup. The Bride is after revenge and after her child. And you do not want to step between a woman and her child. And she will cut you down with her katana sword that she had personally made for her, basically, to strike down Bill, the gentleman that ruined her life, that she still loves. A very strong story, a very strong character. Furiosa versus The Bride. I don't want to be in the audience's shoes on this vote because it's too tough. It's too tough. I love them both.
You know, the Atari Hanzo sword is no joke.
Yeah, no joke at all.
You can also make the argument, at least from an acting perspective, these are probably the two best roles each of these women had, at least from my perspective. I love Furiosa. I think Charlize is fantastic. Obviously, Beatrix Kiddo, The Bride, very, very vengeful, very angry, but very dangerous. And also, too, these are two pretty large women. I mean, they're up there. I've stood next to Uma Thurman. She's a legit 6 foot in her tennis shoes. So, and
I've stood next to Charlize Theron. She's tall as well.
Yeah, these are athletic, well built women here. This should be very interesting, I say.
Andrew,
I agree.
From the last voting session, Andrew says one guy's weapon is just being a hungover New Yorker. It's
true.
That's really good with John Mclean. We get that. All right, we're going to start the vote. The vote has started, everybody. Throw in your vote in the chats. We are saying at these characters fighting, Furiosa versus The Bride, who would win in the fight? We're going to start counting the votes. Kevin's going to take The Bride. Darren, you take Furiosa. We'll go from there. All right. Maria says The Bride. Sammy says The Bride. Andrew says The Bride. Bonnie says The Bride. Enrique says The Bride. Chris Turner says The Bride. Harley says The Bride. Pete says The Bride. Austin says The Bride. Katie says Furiosa. 2 more votes for Furiosa. Street Slim says The Bride. Chris says The Bride. Raphael says The Bride. And that's where we're at right now. Where are we at, gentlemen?
I have 12 votes for The Bride, Beatrix Kiddo.
I have 3.
Oof, Lord.
It ain't happening. I'm calling it. 3, 2, 1. We're getting an official DJ air horn on this one. Total domination. The Bride eliminates Furiosa. Beatrix Kiddo.
That Hattori Hanzo sword is no joke.
Moves on to the next round. Next battle.
All right, second round. Here we go. We are back at the left bracket. Let's go with the star of 24 films and more to come, James Bond, versus Mr. Danger himself, John Rambo.
Dude, it's interesting.
Now, if you're okay with it, Donald, while everyone's sitting here getting ready to vote, do you mind if we take our pick who we think would win?
Yeah, go for it.
Julio?
I'm going to say Rambo.
Kev?
You know, on paper you would think it'd be Rambo, but James Bond's very clever. You know, he's a very clever man.
Yeah.
As long as he avoids getting his hands being put on him, he might have a chance. But if he grabs certain vital body parts, it's over. So I'll be realistic. It'd be Rambo. It'd be Rambo.
I'm going to go with Rambo only based on the sequence in First Blood Part 2, the little montage showing him killing people in the woods with no weapons, hiding in the mud, hiding behind trees in the dirt. Not a chance, Bond. I'm sorry, buddy.
I'm going to go rough, just the way your mother likes it. Bond. James Bond. I think Bond's a tough dude. I mean, he's survived 20-something films so far. How many has Rambo had?
I mean, Oddjob's a tough guy. Jaws is a tough guy. Character from The World's Not Enough who didn't feel any pain, he got through him.
How many world cataclysmic events has James Bond ended, and how many has Rambo? Rambo just got in trouble with a police officer and went out in the woods and started shooting people. There's no question.
It's very realistic.
James Bond has looked the same at most, 7 movies? He's replaced all the time!
Yeah.
Right, but they don't want to move on with Rambo. Once he's done, he's done.
Yes.
There's no Creed in Rambo, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to start counting the votes, and I'm going to put a minute on the clock. Everybody in the chats, vote who you think would win in a fight. We're not talking about the actors, we're talking about the characters. James Bond versus John Rambo. And here we go. Who wants to take James Bond?
Hey, that's my boy. I'll take James Bond.
All right.
I'll take Rambo.
All right. Pete says James Bond. Maria says James Bond. Sammy says James Bond. Raphael says Rambo. Austin says Rambo. Bonnie says Rambo. Enrique says James Bond. Chris says Rambo. Chris also, different Chris, says James Bond. Harley says James Bond. My mom says Rambo. Street Slim says James Bond. Andrew says Rambo. Another one for Rambo. Okay, Chris, you need to clarify. I think you said Rambo, but clarify if that's where you're going. Chris Duque, please. My dad says Rambo. Another one for James Bond. Another one for Rambo, and another one for Rambo. Where are we at, everybody?
I have 8 votes for Bond.
I got 10 Rambo.
Woo!
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Do we have any more votes for James Bond or Rambo in this fight? James Bond versus Rambo.
Lovers.
John says Rambo. We've just added another Rambo. It seems like the nail in the coffin.
Oh, well.
You bringing guns? You ain't changing nothing.
All right, we're going to call it action star.
Win this time, sir.
Rambo has taken James Bond in a surprising upset.
I don't think it was too surprising, man. I really don't.
What was surprising to the 8 people that voted for James Bond?
Kick the crap out of Rambo. Just don't think it's going to happen.
Dude.
What about Daniel Craig?
Yes, maybe that of all the James Bonds, I think his stands a chance. I don't think Roger Moore could.
Well, you shut your mouth.
Drinking.
How dare you sully the name of the best James Bond?
Dude, Rambo would take Daniel Craig down in a fight and in a skinny jeans competition, as is very evident in Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Sure.
Fair enough. All right, moving on. Next round.
All right, we've got Inspector Lee from Rush Hour against Hobbs from The Fast and the Furious.
Wow.
David
Wow.
Goliath.
Wow.
This is great. I love this. All right, Inspector Lee versus Hobbs. You know what? This is actually could be very cool. This could be a very cool fight scene.
You know, I'm surprised they haven't done a movie yet together. The Rock and Jackie Chan. That'd be kind of fun to watch.
Did you guys ever see The Foreigner?
Yes.
With Bond was
on
in
my
it.
birthday, I saw it. Yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
I thought so. Yeah. It got a little cumbersome for me at times, but overall, I haven't seen Jackie on the screen in a while. I thought it was refreshing.
Okay.
It was refreshing that it wasn't a karate film too. He was actually doing some acting.
Bonnie says she'd watch the heck out of this movie of Detective Lee versus Hobbs.
That's a fair point.
This is going to be a tight one.
Yeah. Hobbs is funny.
This is going to be a tight one. I see a lot of votes for both, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. This is going to be nice. I'm going to enjoy this. We're going to put a minute on the clock, everybody. 1 minute on the clock.
You know, I remember the first Jackie Chan film I saw was Rumble in the Bronx, and
me too.
The story was awful, but man, you remember that fight scene in like the underground nightclub? It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's starting to turn. I saw the tide going one way, and now it's turned the other way. So those that haven't put their votes in, I see a lot of people in the chat. Please put your vote in the YouTube chat section if you have yet. If you want to reach out to us, if you have our personal text message, phone numbers and stuff, go ahead and shoot us a message to let us know who you're voting for. If you're unable to get on YouTube chat, we're happy to throw your vote in.
First time I saw Jackie Chan was in a movie called The Protector with Danny Aiello.
Woo! Really? Danny Aiello, who was in 2 Days in the Valley with Charlize Theron, which was her first acting gig.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Way to connect it.
I saw Danny Aiello, may he rest in peace. I saw him live off Broadway in a play called Adult Entertainment, and he's like legitimately 6'2".
Wow.
He's legitimately awesome, and may he rest in peace.
Yes. Oh, he's a true New York style actor.
Oh yeah.
He was the manager in The Professional. Remember, he was Leon's manager.
Yeah.
Chris Duquesne says The Protector. Wasn't that Jet Li?
I'm talking early 80s. This is the first time that Jackie Chan actually entered the American market and failed, and he came back with Rumble in the Bronx.
You might be thinking of Tony Jaa. He did a movie called The Protector.
Don says, Jackie says, I don't want any trouble, and then throws a bunch of shit at The Rock. Very good, Sean. Very good.
And I think it needs to be said right now, as we're big Cobra Kai fans here, I do not like the Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith.
I like it.
That's a different universe.
I like it.
You know, that.
I thought it was fun. I had no problem with it. I was oddly confused why they never did another one, because it was hugely successful.
I'm what I don't like about the whole Cobra Kai thing is people are bringing back the red jacket that Johnny wore in the original.
Yeah.
And they're starting to wear it.
Members only kind of thing?
Dude, really?
Yeah.
There's
Really?
one Johnny.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, let's count the votes. Who's Detective Lee? Who wants to take Detective Lee?
Yeah, I'll
take
take
it.
Lee.
Darren's Lee. Julio, you want Hobbs?
Sure.
Okay. We have Enrique votes Hobbs. Pete votes Lee. My mom votes Lee. Harley votes Lee. Chris votes Hobbs. My dad says Hobbs. Chris says I'm going Lee. He's so inventive when it comes to taking out enemies bigger than him. You are correct, Lee, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We got another 2 more votes for Lee. Bonnie says Hobbs. Raphael says Hobbs. Austin says Hobbs. Katie says Lee. Street Slim says Lee. Bunch of people saying Rumble in the Bronx is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Shant says Lee. Maria says Lee. Chris says Cobra Kai was so good, can't wait for the next season. Shant says he did the police story films after The Protector failed. Sammy says Hobbs, and then Street Slim says Police Story 2, best Jackie Chan movie. I don't think I've seen the second one.
Yeah.
What do we got vote-wise, gentlemen?
I have 10 for Lee.
I have 7 for Hobbs.
Unless we're getting 3 more votes for Hobbs, Lee's going to take it, guys. This will be quite an upset, and an interesting upset. Not one I'm mad at. I wouldn't be mad if either one of these guys took this, to be honest, but I do like the fact of David and Goliath type scenario with Jackie Chan kind of saying I don't want any trouble and then kicking his ass. That is funny. I like that, Sean. So that was very good. Okay, so we're going to call it officially. Detective Lee wins. He took out Hobbs from Hobbs and Shaw fame. Moving on to another round. Detective Lee, this is amazing, guys. Next round.
We're going to the right bracket here in the quarters. We've got Ellen Ripley from Alien against Snake Plissken, Escape from New York.
Ooh. Man, I don't know what I would do.
This is
even.
Tough.
Very even.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that little kid in the Shogun movie, the samurai movies, where they put the ball and the sword, and you don't know which one to go to. You know.
By the way, I want to make a quick comment that Maria told me that her mom voted for Snake Plissken to win the whole thing.
Really?
That's interesting.
How much money did she put on the line for Snake to win the whole thing?
I don't know if she's going to bet money, Kevin. Why? You got money you want to lose or what?
He wants the action.
I guess so.
I want to know
What's the line on that? What's yeah?
You want her to bet Bitcoin? Well, the thing is like it all comes down to the audience. Like, we clearly can try to influence if possible, but we don't vote. So
right.
If the audience votes for Snake, that is what will come.
We're neck and neck on Snake and Ripley. The voting has started. I'm going to put a minute on the clock. Everybody in the audience that has yet to vote, please cast your vote now. We have Ellen Ripley from Alien, Aliens, and Aliens 3 and 4, I think. I don't know anymore.
Well, we're not counting Alien Resurrection because she's basically in that one. She's brought back as a
It's
clone.
called Aliens Kevin's Erection, I believe is what we called that one.
What did you say?
Yeah.
I like Alien Resurrection. I think it's kind of underrated in some ways.
It is underrated.
Yeah.
But that third one sucks.
And we have Snake Plissken, who knew when to get out. They did a second one, and they were like, no, we're done. But
I would love to see a third one.
But you find it interesting the first 3 Alien movies have 3 still working today classic all-time great directors. Ridley Scott, James Cameron, and David Fincher. Isn't that incredible?
It is. And Resurrection had Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, he's nothing to sneeze at, too. What was it? He made a movie with French movie.
Children.
City of Children, yes.
Amelie, of course.
Amelie.
All right, everybody. Yeah. Anybody voting in the chat section, this is Ellen Ripley's, the character of Ellen Ripley fighting the character Snake Plissken, not Sigourney Weaver fighting Kurt Russell. I wouldn't want Kurt Russell to get hurt, so...
Although Sigourney Weaver, she's a tall lady herself. She's like over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, they're both strong. They're both tough characters. Okay, so we're going to start counting these votes.
I'll take Ripley.
Okay, Kevin, you take Ripley. Julio, can you take Snake?
Snake, I got it.
All right. All right, here we go. Raphael says Snake. Bonnie says Ripley. Andrew says Ripley. Maria says Snake. Enrique says Snake. Chris Duque says there's no way, LOL. I don't know what that... Chris, if you can clarify your vote, or when I get to it. I guess I got to it. Okay, never mind. Street Slim says Snake. We have another vote for Ellen Ripley. Chris finally says Ellen Ripley. We got another Ellen Ripley and 2 more Snakes by Chris and Austin. Street Slim says, did you ever all read that comic where Snake meets Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China? I responded, I have not read that, but has anybody here read that?
It's good.
No, I have not.
It's good?
Yes.
Nice.
It's fun.
Sammy says Snake. My dad says Snake. Shant says Ripley. Katie says Snake. Street Slim says James Cameron needs to make another action film. They're making 17 new Avatar films, Street Slim.
Keyword is making.
Right.
Not released.
Pete says Snake. And Harley says Ripley. We do not. We're not going to be changing votes here, Katie. Sorry. Once voted, that's in. That is done.
I think he said, "Call me Pliskin."
Where are we at, guys?
I have 7 votes for Ripley.
10 for Snake.
10 for Snake. Okay. Yeah, it's okay, Kitty. It's no big deal. Which is what I assumed. Anybody else want to vote in the chats? We're getting down to the wire. Anybody else want to vote in the chats? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Wow. That was a good one.
Ripley's gone. Snake Plissken moves on.
This last matchup is going to be something else. This last quarterfinal. Woo.
We're in the quarterfinal here. We have the self-entitled John Wick against the bride from Kill.
This one I've been waiting for. Kevin and I discussed this earlier. And I'm not going to say that we both got aroused, but we both kind of got aroused by the thought of, sorry, Mom, of these two fighting it out. I mean, they are both very familiar with katana swords. We've seen it in John Wick. We've seen it in Kill Bill. I can't think of a better matchup than these two in this whole thing. This is the final battle to me. I'm super excited to see what you guys vote for. And I can't even look right now. I'm going to step away. You guys vote. And everybody here, Darren, Kevin, Julio, you guys talk about it. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm stepping away.
Wow, it's that serious. He actually had to walk away from his console.
Wow.
This
I think it would be.
I would think it would be
really close. I would think it would be a really close fight.
Yeah.
Especially the only way that I think John Wick would win versus the bride is if the bride attacked the dog. And
she chopped up his puppy. She chopped up his puppy or something like that.
But other than that, in a fair fight, oh man, I don't know, man. I think it's a tight one.
You know, you have to. There's a big question I would have, and that is, are weapons allowed? Because I would prefer they not be allowed, which would make things much more interesting for me.
That's true.
It would even out more than you might think, but I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't want to influence and make a decision on this. I'm curious what the audience has to say.
Yeah.
I saw in the comment section, someone asked a question, if it was Chris Duquet, do they both have swords? If they do, there's going to be a lot of limbs coming off.
I don't think to the ifs, Chris. Maybe just kind of use your imagination on that one, because I don't want to limit the way that you guys might be viewing this. So just in general, I mean, you're talking two people going face to face here. Who do you think wins?
Well, the bride had a master. You know, we saw her training. You know, we have some origin on John Wick, but we don't know if he had a master. I mean, the bride pulls eyeballs out. You know, she has the death touch thing. You know.
Oh yeah, the 3-point, the 3-point technique.
Not to. I mean, to point out the obvious, if you're a big martial arts fan, that was taken directly from the 5 Deadly Venoms.
Of course.
A lot of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of that movie.
Real quick, I want to mention the 5-finger death punch thing. Yeah, I don't think John Wick has that, does he?
We don't know.
Like,
he might kill you a million different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a minute on the clock, and we're going to start counting these votes.
This would have made a great championship round.
Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god.
The championship round was still Matrix versus Rambo. You and I both know this.
Chris said she fought aliens with acid blood that eat people. I mean, how? Yes, Chris, I get it. But unfortunately, she lost. Street Slim says Cameron is an amazing action director, but all he's given us the last 25 years is movies about blue aliens in the ocean. Well, he did that one, wasn't it? Or no, that wasn't James Cameron. Never mind. Okay, I'm going to start counting votes. Who wants John Wick? Who wants the bride?
I'll take the bride.
I'll take the Wick.
Okay, Pete says Wick. Chris says Wick. Raphael says Wick. Chris says, oh man, tough one. Wow. Andrew says the bride. Austin says the bride. Bonnie says the bride. Maria says the bride. Katie says The Bride. Street Slim says The Bride. We have another one for John Wick. Enrique says Damn. Harley says The Bride, but this would be the sickest fight. Harley, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like, amazing. I love this one. Chris says, do they both have swords? I think Kevin mentioned that earlier. We got another one for John Wick. Let's see. I got to go back. Chris, I think weapons can be in play, of course. Let's see. Another one for Wick from my dad. Let's just, Chris, imagine it with 2 katana swords is what I'm saying. Like if they're using their hands and swords, guns. I don't know. Who would survive the most battle wounds? Asks Shot. That's a good question. Yeah, I think we don't know that. There's a lot of battle wounds. Let's see. Sammy says The Bride. Frisky Gringo says smash that like button. I don't know what that means, but appreciate your enthusiasm, Frisky.
That sounds like something The Bride would say.
Josh says Wick. Hey Josh, thanks for joining us. Josh joined us, Kevin.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Enrique says Wick. Chris says he's going to go with John Wick. Frisky says John Wick. And that's where we're at right now. What do we got?
I have 8 votes for The Bride so far.
I have 10 for Wick.
All right, it's close.
Very close.
All right, is The Bride going to lose to John Wick, everybody? Let's hear it.
I mean, this is about as close as it's going to get.
Yeah, they're both disciplined. They both got some revenge on their mind and avenging.
Love for a child and for a cute beagle puppy.
Yeah.
Chris Duque says that was the toughest one yet. Chris, I agree. This was a very tough round. Extremely. So we're going to go 30 seconds on the clock. That's all the time you have for voting, and then we're going to move on.
This is one that I don't mind the Supreme Court having to decide.
Yeah. Are you guys excited about the Berserker comic that's coming out?
We've got another one for The Bride, everybody.
Excellent. Excellent.
We're one away, correct, from tying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said the Berserker?
Yeah, that's the new Keanu Reeves comic that's coming out.
Not for that variant that costs how much?
You have to buy 1,000 books, so I think that $4.99
Yeah.
each book. So
$5,000 variant?
So I think there's one on sale, pre-order on eBay right now for $2,300 for the 1 in 1,000, and it comes signed by everybody that worked on it, including Keanu.
Not worth it.
No, I'd rather have a Key comic.
Frisky says, did the bride kill Wick's dog? Possibly. Andrew says John Wick that puts the nail in the coffin. The bride is done.
Yep.
Ah, man.
John Wick wins this round, moving on to the semifinals.
Skip to the semifinals. Okay.
Puppy factor.
First and foremost, let's get rolling here. We have John Rambo against Inspector Lee.
This is awesome! I love this so much. John Rambo versus Inspector Lee. Inspector Lee is from Rush Hour. It's Jackie Chan. John Rambo is Sylvester Stallone. We're not talking about the individuals, though. We're talking about the characters. If Jackie Chan was Detective Lee was happening to come across John Rambo and was like, you're wanted by the law, let's fight. Who would win?
That'd be funny because Stallone would maybe say, I am no. You know, what's kind of something that I find interesting here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember Inspector Lee killing many people. Whereas
Inspector Lee versus John Rambo.
Kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. Rambo kills one person in the first Blood film, and then after that, he just goes on a murderous rampage. I mean, is there a way he hasn't killed somebody? And if you try to wound John Rambo in Rambo 3, remember, he cauterized his wound with gunpowder and fire.
Yeah.
Let's not take into consideration that Detective Lee cauterized his wound with a karate chop.
Oh. Yeah.
I made that up. It didn't really happen. But yeah, Detective Lee versus John Rambo.
I think at First Blood, Rambo only kills one guy, and it's kind of accidental.
Totally.
Yeah.
At least he.
Remember Hot Shots? They made a parody of that scene of cauterizing a wound.
Yeah.
You guys remember Charlie Sheen?
I love Charlie Sheen. Hey, you remember in Rambo Part 4 where he jumped on the 50 cal and shot a dude at point blank range?
Yes, he blew up.
All right.
That's a good one.
We're going to restart the time on this, a minute on the clock. Everybody continue with your voting while we start counting. Who would like to do Rambo?
I will do Rambo.
Would you, Darren?
Ooh.
All right, and who wants Detective Lee?
I'll do him.
Oh, would you now?
Hard.
Yeah, all right. So, one for Rambo. One for Lee. One for Rambo. Pete says Rambo. Chris says Rambo. Austin says Rambo. Andrew says Rambo. Bonnie says Rambo. My dad says Lee. One for Rambo. Katie says Rambo. Frisky says Rambo. Chris says Inspector Lee. Even in the woods, he'd be jumping and swinging from trees. Another Rambo. Harley says Lee. Chris says Inspector Lee's dad once caught a bullet with his bare hands. Sammy says Lee. Sean says, where are they rumbling at? Is there a ladder around for Jackie to use? Yes, of course. There's always a ladder. Maria says Lee. And we're waiting on more votes, everybody. We are waiting on more votes. A minute left on the clock for your final votes on this. Please put in your vote. Gentlemen, where are we at with this vote?
I got 6 for Lee.
John Rambo with 11.
Oh my goodness, really? Wow.
Yeah, and Josh just added another for Rambo. I'm going to call it.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
He advanced to the final. I don't want to celebrate too hard here, but I told you Rambo is the man. Of course he's in the finals.
Rambo
here we go.
has defeated Lee.
Maybe he didn't understand the words coming out of your mouth.
Well played.
All right. So we've got our semifinal match to face Rambo in the final. We have Snake Plissken against John Wick.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
This is my worst nightmare.
I mean, Snake
I think I was going to win this one, who should win this one, but of course the audience will decide.
Snake Plissken did achieve unbelievable things in 2 missions. I think it's something to consider because I don't know if John Wick would be up for that challenge necessarily.
Josh, thank you for your vote. You put the nail in the coffin on that one. We're already starting to get some votes in.
John Wick is all about retiring. He's doing all these things to stop, right? And Snake, it's just his job. It's what he does.
Call him Plissken.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody for Snake? Anybody for Wick? We got Snake Plissken versus John Wick. Think about it. Snake Plissken. One eye. Still kicks ass.
The conversation that Lee Van Cleef's character has with Kurt Russell is incredible.
I agree. And you know what? I also think Escape from L.A. is kind of underrated. If you're a fan of John Carpenter films and the universe with Snake Plissken, I think Escape from L.A. gets overlooked.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it suffers from the Star Wars prequels. Like, my kid loves the Star Wars prequels, and he likes Escape from New York, but loves Los Angeles. Constantly watches it.
Interesting.
I mean, Pam Grier is she's fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, also Bruce Campbell's in Escape from L.A., so.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So
All right, we're going to start counting the votes. Julio, can you be Snake? And Kevin, can you be Wick? Raphael says Wick. Chris says Wick. He has both his eyes to see better. Enrique says Wick. Maria says Wick. My dad says Snake. I want everybody to remember that. Austin Fox says Wick. Harley says Wick. Let's see. 2 more votes for Wick. Chris says Wick. Andrew says Wick. Already got that. Bonnie says Snake. Josh says Wick, 100%. Katie says Snake. Andrew says Snake is a wanker, Wick all the way. Andrew, wow. What a mouth on you, my God.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Wow. Josh says John Wick is too quick. Wow, that's a good rhyme. By the way, if you counted that twice, that was just him saying it again. Josh only voted once. Sammy says Snake. So, everybody, where are we at?
I have 12 votes for John Wick. Not looking good for Snake.
I got 4 for Snake.
We got 1 more for Snake.
5.
Against how many for John Wick?
12.
Yeah, we're going to call it.
Yeah. Sorry, Snake.
Snake's gone.
Do I get that money from Maria's mom now? No, I was kidding.
So I'm going to leave John Wick up on the screen, right? Because he's facing the other John, correct?
Yep.
Oh, is it Rambo versus Wick?
Yes, it is.
Damn.
I gotta say, even though the finals should have been Rambo versus Matrix, this is a very good final here. I have to say, this is fantastic. You've got John Rambo and John Wick.
Yeah.
Very dangerous people here, folks. Like
Baba Yaga versus Rambo.
This is a great.
Each of them have killed probably at least 100 people. At least, maybe more.
In the words of John Rambo, that can also apply to John Wick, when you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing. And these guys kill with impunity.
I mean, these guys put Jason Voorhees, and they make him blush.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, and they didn't really do it much in the later ones, but in the first 2 Rambo films, there was always a high quality monologue by John Rambo at the end of the movie.
Oh, dude, yes. Number 2 is the best monologue, I think.
I died for it.
Yeah. I want what they want. For our country to love us as much as we love it. And then what is the answer? What does the colonel say to him? Rambo, how are you going to live? Day by day. And that's how it is. I was what?
This is a really tough
one.
My
favorite line is, I'm coming for you, Murdoch.
We've got a lot of votes for both of these guys. This is going to be close, everybody. This is going to be close.
The Supreme Court may have to step in to decide a winner.
And the Supreme Court, by the way, for those that are listening that don't know, are the 4 of us voting. And you don't want that. We argue, we throw things. It gets ugly. So, John Wick or John Rambo? Who of the Johns do you vote for? And by the way, a John is another term for a prostitute, for those that do not know.
Really?
A male prostitute, yeah.
Wow.
So
wait, I thought it was a gigolo.
That's also a one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So wait, we still don't know who trained John Wick, but we definitely know that Colonel Sam Troutman trained John Rambo.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I thought they always had a good contrast between each other, between Rambo and Troutman.
Chris says that John is also a toilet. Chris Duque says that, so you are right.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so let's start counting some votes, guys. Who wants to take... Kevin, you've got John Wick's picture. You can do that. Darren, you do Rambo.
All right.
Okay, we're going to give you the rest of the night off there, Julio, on the counting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right, so... Andrew Asher says Rambo, fuck the world. Katie says Rambo. Raphael says Wick. Pete says Wick. Chris Turner says Wick can kill Rambo with anything. We've got another vote for Rambo. Another vote for Rambo. We've got my dad says John Wick. Enrique says John Wick. Wick. Sorry. Bonnie says Rambo. Harley says Wick. Chris Duque says Wick. Austin says Rambo. Sammy says Rambo. Shant says we need to do best action movie quotes. Shant, that's not a terrible idea. But it would just be a bunch of dudes gushing over really lame lines, I think. I mean,
Schwarzenegger would be the only guy being quoted.
Oh, Pete says Johns are guys who pick up prostitutes. Okay, Pete. I'm glad that you knew that for some reason, Pete. Josh says John Wick is greater than Rambo. Where are we at, everybody, on the voting?
I have 8 for John Wick so far.
I have 7 for Rambo.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
Is the Supreme Court stepping in? Are we getting another vote for Rambo? Are we getting another vote for Wick? And it's over. What is going to happen? Rob Antis, what is your vote?
Yeah, we know you're there.
Just so you know, Rambo knows it's a long road when you're on your own.
Oh.
Telling you, man, great pop music in the Rambo films. Dude, this guy, think about it. Between Rambo, Cobra, Rocky, this dude owned the 80s, man, when it came to, like, 80s pop, right?
We have another vote for John Wick.
Ooh.
Pete says prostitution is legal as long as you record your session and upload it online.
What?
I didn't know that. Good to know. Good to know.
Marino?
Shant says doesn't have to be funny quotes, but can be badass ones. Shant, that's a good idea. Andrew says Rambo. So another vote for Rambo.
8, I think.
My mom says John Wick.
Ooh.
10-8.
So John Wick is up by 2 against Rambo as in action stars. Guys, this is for all the money. This is the final. This is the final battle. This
for
is
all
tough.
the crypto.
All of the marbles. I'm going to put 1 minute left on the clock for the timer. That is all we're giving this. One more minute.
Decide the champion. Who will be the champion? Which John will be the champion? The Wixer or Rambo?
Sylvester Stallone or Keanu Reeves?
You drew first blood. Yeah, I could do this all night.
Oh man.
It's so on the nose, Julio.
I
love it.
We got one more vote for John Wick.
That's it, I think.
Doesn't look good.
Now we got 30 seconds left with John Wick ahead by 3, correct?
Yep, by 3, 11 votes.
Yeah, not looking good.
There is your choice and the right choice. And you know what the right choice is?
I mean, if it comes down to stick fighting, Rambo might take it, you know? I think if we would have mentioned that.
Is the stick a pencil? Because then I would say John Wick.
Right. Or a book.
Yeah. Guys, I didn't think I would see this. I did not think I would see John Wick taking this whole thing. I'm extremely surprised by this. Anybody else?
I guess my background must have influenced the vote somehow.
I had a feeling John Wick was going to take it.
No.
That's it. It's been called. John Wick is the winner of the Ultimate Action Star Smackdown.
The Baba Yaga?
Not terribly surprised. I mean, John Wick is extremely formidable. John Wick's a badass. You can't argue that one bit. You know, it's an honorable win. I mean, he won by 3 votes in the final. So
yeah,
I love it.
We can't go against it. That's it. That's going to be it for us, I guess. Julio, thank you for being on as a guest star for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Had a lot of fun, guys.
Julio from
you'll be back on soon, of course.
Julio from We Can Be Heroes Comic Shop in Chatsworth, California. Please Google them, find them, go in, visit their shop. It's a great place. Very good friends of the Real Short Box. For anybody that does not know.
Thank you, guys.
They have a game room, lots of toys, action figures and stuff, a lot of comic books, a lot of good deals. And tell them the Real Short Box sent you.
Yeah. If they do, they can get a 10% discount if they bring you guys up. And that doesn't count for you guys. Not for you guys. Right? You guys
okay.
And you too, Raphael. You can use the discount.
Right, Raphael. He comes in. The Real Short Box sent me. No, it's actually Julio.
Julio, do you have any special events coming up at the shop anytime soon over the next few weeks?
Oh, we got some stuff coming up, and I just can't announce the really big one. I can't do it. I mean, it's not 100% confirmed, but we're going to have possibly someone special joining us at the shop for a little while. So it should be pretty cool.
That would be great if it was.
Dude, that's awesome.
Sam
I
Jones.
want to meet that dude from Jim Cotta.
Yeah, that would be cool, actually.
Did the guy from Jim Cotta die?
Oh.
Maybe John Wick killed him.
I thought he did.
Michael Dudikoff killed John Wick.
I could be wrong.
Michael Dudikoff. Joe Armstrong.
Right. It's not Michael Dudikoff. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely had arm strength to do the... Never mind. That's a bad joke. Anyway. Let's see. Chris Ducases, you guys are the best. This was fun. My mom says, night, gentlemen. Night, son. Love you. Night, mom. Love you, too. Get some rest. Good night, dad. Love you guys. Thanks for staying on. Our biggest fans. We appreciate it. Enrique says, thank you guys. Have a good night. Pete says, this was awesome. Chris Duque says, I love you, Donald's mom. Oh, that's sweet, Chris. Thank you. Katie says, have a good night, everyone. Take care. Good night, Katie.
Good night, Katie.
Raphael says, God damn. Austin says, great job tonight, guys. Have a good night. Andrew says, quality. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Good night, Sammy. I'll be back in L.A. in a little while, and you'll be able to enjoy your Star Wars comics. So thank you for being on. We always appreciate it. And to those of you that do not know, we do a live podcast. We try to do it every Monday on YouTube Live. We also have a podcast on Spotify. It's an audio podcast. Google, Apple Podcast, Darren's favorite, Spreaker, and a host of others you can find us on. If you can't find us, reach out to us. We will make sure we're on there. Josh says, blah, blah. Thank you, Josh. Blah, blah to you, too. Harley says, thanks, y'all. These are fun. Chris Turner says, hi. Thanks, Chris. We say hi back. Thank you again. Hey, Max. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Snake did not win, but he fought a valiant fight, sir. A valiant.
Yeah. He was in there.
He's till the bitter end. Just John Wick took it. It was just on the way it was. John Wick is the ultimate winner of this. Anybody else have any other comments before we close this out?
This was a blast. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully in the future we'll do something similar again. And I'm glad that the audience had a good time in the comment section and voting. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Yeah. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, hopefully we'll see you at some place like Julio's, which would be...
We Can Be Heroes Comics.
Yes, which would be a precious, lovely, homely comic book shop.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good night. Goodbye.
Good night.